then maybe no need for
Hello, everyone.
notes.
We're gonna leave a few minutes for more people to join, hopefully. Some people coming in. Hello, everyone. We're giving some minutes for more people to join. We're gonna start soon. Um, you think we should start, Riley, or we give a few more minutes?
I think we can probably go ahead and get started. I think more people will probably trickle in the next few minutes. I know that I think there were two parallel sessions right before this. And there were a lot of people who were interested from those sessions into coming into this. So they might just be running a little bit late, but I think we can go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Early Career Scientists Network Forum. And my name is Ayana St. Rose, and I am one of the co-coordinators for the Early Career Network. And I'll just touch a little bit on my background. I am an affiliate researcher with the Landscape Ecology Modeling, Mapping, and Analysis Group, working out of Oregon. But I'm currently living in Oakland, and I work on fire dynamics just broadly. And I am also the data ecology and sustainability lead at the Caribbean Environmental Solutions, which is a small nonprofit based out of my home country, Dominica. And we're just focused on capacity building in the region. And then um, my colleague Daniel can go ahead and introduce himself.
Thank you, Ayana. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Pinillos. I am from Guatemala. I'm a landscape ecologist, and I am an affiliated researcher at Universidad del Valle and Universidad Rafael Andívar, both from Guatemala. Um, I recently finished a fellowship at the Inter-American Institute for Climate Change Research on science diplomacy, in which many of the topics that within the Global Land program are also discussed and touched upon from a different perspective, but uh, the approaches and the framing of problems having in common this framework. So it's very exciting now to together with Ayana coordinating the Early Career Network of the GLP, and today we hope to bring some interesting elements to discuss together.
Awesome. So we want this town hall to be very interactive or as interactive as possible, given that we're all on Zoom at home or at work or wherever we are. So just brace yourself for some interaction. So we're going to start off with a small icebreaker, and we want everyone to drop their flag in the chat. Like, let us know where you're coming from. Nice. Brazil, Argentina, Denmark. Words also work. I know it's always a task to kind of find the emojis. Nice. Argentina, Denmark, Belgium. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So we have a lot of different places. Okay, so our next one is okay, so we're gonna drop a thumbs up if you identify as early career. Where if it's early where you are, sorry. A closed fist if it's the afternoon, and a high five or raised hand if it's late. So I just dropped the emojis in there just in case you all can't find them. Nice, early. It's super early where I am. It's like 8:30. Okay, afternoon. It's nice time. Mm, nice. Nice, nice. Afternoon. Oh, we have a lot of afternoons, which is which is a nice time. It's like 8:38. So I had to be up very early for this session or the session before. Okay. Now, I want you to drop a dancing emoji if you were in Oaxaca for the GLP Open Science meeting in 2024, and a crying emoji if you missed it because it was lit. Yes, nice, love it. Oh, hopefully the next one. Well, we're happy to have you. Dancing emoji. Uh-oh, my screen just went dark. Oh. Let me share this again. Here we go. Nice, nice, nice. Now, the last one. Uh, so drop a hat if you're in your master's program, a seedling if you're in your PhD, a tree if you're in your postdoc, and a pants if you're in your your big pants job. Okay? Let me drop the emojis as well. Okay, I see some postdocs, some big pants jobs. Rachel, that is funny. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. So lovely, lovely. I'm loving the interaction so far. So that's just a little bit of, what we're trying to do today. We want everybody to be involved, and we're going to have a little discussion at the end. Just a heads up, So we're going to do some reflections first and explore the challenges and the opportunities from our Early Career Research Network day in Oaxaca. Then we're going to have a discussion where we hope, we unmute our mics, and if we're able to show our faces, we'd love that as well. And then we'll touch on next steps. So Daniel, you could take us away.
Thank you, Ayana. So the idea is to for this the next slides to refresh, to bring back many of the insights and ideas, concerns that came on that day back in November 2024, which both feels that a lot of water has run under the bridge from that day, but also it also feels somehow that wasn't that long ago because it was such a really nice encounter. I was lucky to be there, and so we're gonna refresh and bring a summary, a resume of all the ideas that came up that day. So so we can resume the conversation, hopefully to look ahead, either whether you were there or you were not there. The idea is to present a summary. As next slide, please. As first the opportunities and then the challenges. The opportunities, obviously, of the early career of the early career network of the GLP. So I'll start with the summary, an overview of the opportunities. Obviously, broadly speaking, it's about connecting, about building careers as early researchers. Enabling, facilitating collaboration through scientific community as a global network, allowing for professional development and establish clear career pathways through collaborations across disciplines, regions, exchanging knowledge, methodologies, experiences, and overall a shared platform for growth and engagement. This is obviously the broad picture, and we're gonna see now next, please. Thank you. More in specific, what were the topics that came on that day? What were the opinions of these different group activities that we had that Sophie actually organized very nicely? So many of the things that came out around the idea of research and opportunities of the early career network was how to go from individual effort, individual researchers to obviously establish connected global communities of early career scientists, given that, well, the Global Land Program is precisely that. So conferences, webinars, training activities were among the main topics that emerged. Obviously, things that were discussed is how to open up access to international collaborations, including field opportunities, how to engage with innovative research, specifically methodologies or methods, increase visibility for early career researchers, and within this visibility, how to also foster potential research projects, joint research projects, no, and the publications that follow. One of the big topics, obviously, that emerge as an opportunity is the one related to funding and knowledge exchange. As an early career network, how this network could actually increase the awareness of funding opportunities, research goals. So this exchange of knowledge and information was a very important topic, as well as this flow of shared resources, tools, methodologies. Indeed, were an important topic that emerged and that many of us coincided in one of the main aspects, one of the main opportunities for the early career network. This obviously implies exchange among institutions and and different institutions working together as 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 um, as part of a research project, and in doing so, creating great visibility within the research landscape. Next one, please. Um, Another very important topic. I'm just like giving you like the hopefully the it makes sense to you, like the big clusters of ideas that came about the opportunities. So mentorship and collaboration was also one. Strengthening capacities for future research leaders. This peer-to-peer learning. There were a lot of discussion about how would this work, for example, between someone working in the US and in Latin America, or in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, and so on. Which kind of mentorship mechanisms could be created as well for career guidance, or simply through work together. Um, Again, capacity building or development of technical and skills. An important topic also was the implementation of inter and transdisciplinary approaches, in which engagement with non-academic actors is obviously central. So engagement with practitioners, communities, and policymakers. So how the early career network as an opportunity to also drive the yeah, the approaches, whether inter and transdisciplinary approaches, could be strengthened in the research practice. Next, please. Yeah, and also obviously one of another important and interesting topic that well emerged. Obviously, if we're talking about a network of scientists, ultimately we're also people. So it's about creating a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, um, and this pursuit of our research having impact. So how the opportunities of this network in regard, yeah, a sense of community across geographic and disciplinary boundaries, which is obviously very interesting, very desirable, but not so easy to implement, to make real, given the logistical challenges and so on. But we'll talk about the challenges soon. Also, given the societal challenges in which we are all immersed. So how to connect science with these challenges as well, and the spaces that can allow for exchanging and discussing about these perspectives, no? And obviously, this is also a way of personal support, of support at a personal level. And then one of the key messages that I would say emerged during that day was how the opportunity of the early career network, the GLP's early career network, can facilitate this transforming individual opportunities into collective capacity, connection of ideas and actions across the global community. And now I will talk about the challenges that also came up that day. Obviously, they are very related to the opportunities. So opportunities and challenges are inevitably linked. So how to turn these challenges into opportunities, and how to yeah, basically from challenges to opportunities. One of the aspects that came up were the institutional and administrative challenges, constraints in terms of regulations, institutional regulations, and the relatively or low flexibility in certain specific instances. Uneven institutional support, either for the land system research at large, or maybe for certain approaches, such as a sociological approach which is very connected to land system research. Um, um, the barriers that are involved in making science relevant for policy making, and not only relevant but also implemented into policy. This also including all the bureaucratic requirements of institutional arrangement that are complex. So one of the, as a summary, if we could sum up, would be there is high expectations for impacts, but the institutional constraints sometimes are, well, I mean, are precisely that, a constraint, and so this is definitely a challenge that were discussed during the session from many of the groups. Another challenge was also career insecurity, so related to trajectories and limited long-term planning support. Also, one of the challenges that was mentioned, it was the transition from academia to non-academic sectors, a competitive and fragmented funding landscape, and I suspect this is even more now the case as compared to 2024. And also the uneven access to fellowships, grants, mobility support. So again, as a wrap-up idea of this is like the high performance, the demands for high performance, but without predictable or structured career pathways. You know, it's sometimes uncertainty is quite high. And another challenge was the one regarding connectivity, inclusion, and capacity gaps, regarding precisely the limited access to networks beyond the immediate network, which of course is one of the ideas also of the early career network, how to overcome this, and to hopefully also overcome this this idea of uneven, or this concern that came up also as uneven participation regarding or uneven participation due to geography and logistical constraints such as visas, for example, which are a real logistical problem sometimes. And obviously also regarding gaps regarding skills, methods, and science communication. So collaboration is expected, but sometimes the access to these collaborations are not evenly distributed among early career scientists. And I think we have a final challenge. It all comes also like all the challenges and opportunities that I think they all came from a very academic and professional dimension, and they were both leaning towards the personal domain as well. So also there were talks and conversation about work-life imbalance, isolation, uncertainty, information overload, which talk about not an individual challenge, but actually a challenge embedded in the system. So this was something that also was discussed. I remember the structural challenges of the research landscape, of the research system. And I think the next one should be the last one regarding the challenges. As I said, all the conversation also about challenges and opportunities ended up being also about the personal aspect. No, this the work-life balance. There were conversations about well-being as a early career researcher in regard balancing expectations, productivity, pressures, personal well-being, experiences of uncertainty, isolation, insecurities, etc. No? So yeah, the main takeaway here that the challenges are not only technical, individual, but also personal, from the structural challenges also to the personal domain, which is uh, quite natural in to understand. Um, yes. Next, please. I think, yeah. So
Yes.
hopefully you got a sense of what was discussed that day regarding opportunities and discussions, and feel free to ask at the end as well.
Definitely. Thanks, Daniel, for this insightful overview. And we're going to just move into the discussions. Now, we have a few questions to facilitate the discussion, but we want you all to feel free to ask questions that you may have. And when you're answering questions or asking questions, we'd like you to say your name and where you're from so we get to know each other a little bit. And feel free, don't be shy. It's pretty chill, laid back in here. Okay, so our first question we have is when you think about joining a professional network specifically for early career scholars, what is the single most valuable resource or opportunity it could offer that you currently lack? Feel free to unmute and I guess what are you looking to get out of an early career network?
I can jump in. I think, first of all, my name is Riley Auger. I work for the Global In Program IPO. Um, and I'm here in Bethesda, Maryland. I think for me, something that is like that I see as a really big value that the ECN can offer, especially for, yeah, for me personally, is like a sense of kind of solidarity and camaraderie with people who are at a similar stage in life, where it's like we can kind of, be able to talk to each other about what we're experiencing, and maybe like come up with thoughts and solutions together, and not even excuse me, not even just necessarily solutions, but just kind of like that sense of community to bring like concerns and stuff too.
Nice. Thank you for that, Riley. I definitely um, feel like echo your sentiments. I would love a space where we can all come and, we feel seen and we talk about things that matter to us, you know?
Yeah, so
Oh, sorry, go
thanks
ahead.
everyone. Yeah, I really enjoyed the early career network meetup in Oaxaca. Um, I guess the thing that really sticks in my head about it is as sort of like a computer modeler in Europe, meeting people, particularly from South America, for whom sort of like questions around like the ethics of land use change are more than just theoretical. They're kind of lived and real. I think that was stuck in my head ever since. And so that was like a really amazing, important experience, I think. And so I would hope that Early Career Network can continue to facilitate that kind of thing. But I guess, I was also struck by like the discussion around skills and a lot of people I was chatting to there um, wanted to ask a lot of questions about like different methodological techniques or whatever. Um, so I don't know if there could be some kind of like skills matching thing. I'd be very happy to like answer questions if people are, for example, are interested in using a particular method in their research. That could be a way of giving back or transferring knowledge across the network.
Nice. Thanks, Oliver.
Maybe I can jump in now. Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Andrea. I'm from Honduras, but I'm based in Wageningen in the Netherlands. And I think the thing that I would say is the thing that I value just the most about the GLP in general is that it just so often feels like it's the people that get it, right? Like we're the community of people that get what each other's research is about. And it's just easier to communicate because we're doing such interdisciplinary work, because we're doing work that's often locally rooted, that's policy relevant. And so I think, or what that makes me think, in terms of like what we might not get in our day to day, where perhaps we're in like departments where we might not fit 100% in, or where we get like bits and pieces from like methods or topics, and we're not quite always fitting in is just a seminar series could be quite nice, especially at this career stage where a lot of us are doing a lot of research and could get feedback on a lower stake sort of level. That's, like not this whole seminar that you're defending in front of your department. So that could be quite nice. And it even makes me think of what Oliver was saying before. Some things could be like more methods related, and some things could be more, I don't know, topic related. I know that the GLP somewhat already does this, with like working group meetings and seminars, but it could be a nice way to frame it in the early career network.
Thanks, Andrea.
I can jump in. Hello, everyone. My name is Sasha. I'm originally from Brazil, but I'm based in the US now. And my take on this question resonates a lot with what already been told. Like, because we are in such an interdisciplinary field, and I'm always reading work by fellows of the GLP. They are so brilliant. I want to be part of this community. So this early career space, I think it's a good entry place for me to connect and network and exchange methods, knowledge about some particular geographies or research topics. So this is one thing, and the other thing is having this network for sharing opportunities, since most of the early career scholars here probably are looking for these opportunities as well to work with the fellows at the GLP.
Awesome. Thanks, Sasha.
Maybe I can also jump in. I hope you hear me well. I'm Anna, originally from Portugal, based in Belgium. I was not there for the early career meeting, sadly, the last in Mexico. But I think I resonate with most of what was said and what has been said here as well. I'm just thinking of how to create this kind of, how to operationalize this kind of integration and exchange that is not so centralized on you two, that are the people that will have somehow to be in charge. And what I was thinking, which may be really not doable, but to have something like a Teams or a Slack that allows to create channels to like share, and then people could be more or less, depends how many we are, of course. But I was thinking that something that allows to have some kind of decentralized way of organizing things could be allow for all these different kind of ideas. But of course, someone needs to give some structure to this. So yeah, thanks.
Awesome. I guess we can move on to our next question. Anna, thank you so much. You touched on something we're going to I guess talk a little bit more about in a few slides down. But another question we have is, in what ways do you feel your current training is successfully preparing you for the job market? And where do you feel the biggest blind spot is? Is that me changing it? I don't know what's going on. I know what is going on with the changing. I'm not pressing anything. It's just like going.
Maybe you have timings on your slide accidentally.
Maybe, but it's like going.
Sometimes when that button is clicked, it just goes on its own for me.
Oh,
You can exit out and look if you have the timings, but
yeah. Anybody wants to chime in, or should we move over to the Slack question?
I can jump in with that question. I'm not so much an early career, but anyway, I think that always something that I always struggle with is that we are in very interdisciplinary topics. So trying to learn a little bit of everything, of different methods, of different disciplines was always like a challenge for me, and sometimes I felt it was a blind spot, but at the same time, it gave me it was good to have many different tools of different disciplines, but also a blind spot to feel that you weren't like a very, very good or expert in a particular tool or method or field. So that's something that I have struggled with at some point, and now I think it's also a strength. So that's interesting.
Yes. Thanks, Sophia. We cannot hear you, Alexander.
Do you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay. Even I'm not really a career researcher, but I believe also looking through different fluctuations these days we have around the world, that also the maybe some kind of degree of the fear what I also was experiencing maybe from the life is that somehow being afraid to step out from the academia. And in fact, actually, there are brilliant opportunities sometimes outside of academia. But at the same time, academia maybe nowadays being more also responsible and welcoming the people who have also experience from outside of academia. So more having this kind of the inflows and outflows dynamically through the system. And I know that if to looking back in the past, maybe someone if steps out academic, it would be something that, ooh, then it will be hard to return. But I believe nowadays maybe its tendency is becoming more flexible, yeah, to moving back and forth. And that, of course, possesses challenge for also early career researchers to decide if to belong to academia or for a while to leave, to go to the business and then later to return. So maybe some best examples or experience with the people share that will be very, very helpful to pass through the stuff to the transitions.
Thanks, Alexander. Yes, we do need a little bit more of that, that mixing and mingling, especially at this stage in our careers, for sure.
If I can add also to that, then I think one thing that is maybe also a blind spot here is that it's very rare that people will get the first job that they actually apply for. It will usually take a lot of attempts. And how do you then deal with all these many rejections where you have put your whole like soul and heart into applying for these many, many positions? And then how do you move on from that? I think that could maybe also be something that a network like this could help with, because dealing with rejections, whether it's for jobs, grants, papers, or whatever it is, it's just not easy.
Thanks, Laura. That is 100% true. And I don't think that's something I've ever thought about like discussing. And I know that all of us go through it, you know? So I like that for sure. Hi, Anna. I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm not sure if it totally fits, but it's a big topic of AI and AI use. And I think many institutions don't really know how to deal with this. And I think maybe the early careers will be the ones that will have to kind of deal with the brunt of this as we move ahead into the future, to say. And I think it's a discussion that we should be having and thinking, how do we want to kind of shape AI use? That's it.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, AI is the biggest thing going on right now, one of the biggest things. So that's quite valid. Yes, Ariane, our future educators. So we can move over to our next question. Okay, so what's the biggest barrier currently stopping you from taking the next step in your career development? Or is there even a barrier for you?
I mean, in my situation and even with Ariane and our situation here is like funding is such a big barrier to like being able to move forward in this particular space. And I think it really probably in any academic um space as well. It's like we have so many great ideas and so much that we want to do that can help us and everyone kind of like progress in our career development, but like funding is such a limiting factor, especially now, and especially in the US. I'm sure it's happening everywhere as well, but yeah, I know personally like that's what we're kind of experiencing.
Yep, that's true. Thanks, Riley.
And if I can add to that, I think something that is, or is happening at least to me, is that it's getting so difficult to find funding that you spend a lot of time writing proposals. So it's like a never-ending cycle where your funding proposals get rejected and you need to find more time to write more proposals. So it's very, very demanding and frustrating right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. I do also see some chats going on. Well, there's some people replying in the chat, so be sure to check that out as well. We can move on to the next question. We spoke a lot about mentorship and wanting that peer-to-peer mentorship going on, but also looking at people who are not necessarily in academia or anyone who's somewhere we want to be and we're not there as yet. So as early career researchers, mentorship is very important to us. So we want to know, what does mentorship look like to you, or what does it mean for you, or how it could help you? Yes, Annabelle, I echo those sentiments. It's very hard to find placement sometimes when you're not necessarily in a box. Does anybody need mentorship? Maybe not.
I think I have like maybe kind of a question for like some discussion that I posed a little bit that's kind of related to this. Where it's like we have a few SSC members here and maybe some more senior scientists who are here. And I guess I'd like to hear a bit from them about like what did they find useful about being a part of, GLP or another interdisciplinary network as when they were early career people, and like how has being a part of something like that helped shape their career to where they are today.
I can jump in, and also it was related to what I was going to say anyway, which was for the mentorship. So yeah, I'm Rachel Garrett. I'm a co-chair of the Science Steering Committee. That's the acronym I keep using, SSC. And my supervisor was a kind of a key GLP member, Eric Lamban, and he introduced me to the community. And for me, it was really important because I didn't belong anywhere when I was doing my PhD. It was an interdisciplinary PhD program, and I was just like, I am not an economist. I'm not a biologist. Anyway, getting back to Laura's introductory talk on the first day, but um, so anyway, what I was going to say about mentorship, and also in answer to Riley's question, is that you don't like thinking of what do I want from a mentor is very challenging, and thinking of how to be a mentor is very challenging. But somehow it just happens, and you kind of can later put your finger on what was the mentorship that happened. And so for me, the value of the GLP was always through the both like the online gatherings, but also obviously back in the day, much more in-person gatherings. But also some people have mentioned just like reading the work of scholars and then knowing you, first of all, knowing that you fit somewhere, being able to put your finger on a name of a community that you fit into. But then just like seeing the way that people do science, seeing the way they conduct themselves, seeing the type of culture and values they represent. And even just coming to the meetings this week, like having that reminder that there's like a friendly, kind of informal community out there to support us. And so you've all mentioned it a lot, but like I think seeing that from successful academics and seeing the way they conduct themselves in this space and knowing that that's a pathway that's viable for success was somehow the most important lesson that I got.
Thanks for sharing, Rachel.
I think I can just echo Rachel because I was in the exact same situation where my mentor, that was Annette Renberg, she was also sort of in the GLP community. And I think what was really eye-opening to me when looking back was that when I attended my very first conference, it was actually a GLP conference in 2010 in Arizona. And then the feedback I got during the presentations, it was more along the lines of, oh, we would like to hear more about what you have done instead of this, like, why did you not do this and that? And so it's a very different approach, I think, in many ways in these GLP open science meetings where people are actually interested and open to new methods and like taking on new things instead of like this idea of why didn't you fit into this box that Rachel also just mentioned.
Yeah. I love that, Laura. I definitely felt that when I went to the open science meeting and felt more for like trying to nurture us as scientists instead of like trying to like nitpick everything. So, hi, Andrea. You could go.
No, sorry. No, I just wanted to like maybe just reflect a little bit on this whole mentorship thing and also maybe ask the group because I've been a part of structured mentorship programs in different capacities or in different, like matchmaking sort of programs. And I don't think that they work very well, but maybe other people here could disagree with me. I think, or just as like anecdotally, I think I chatted with someone, I think this may have been from conservation biology, but we were there was some matchmaking, and then I had someone tell me like, like, what are you talking about? The postdoc years were the best years of my life. and, and so I don't know that it works so well to be like randomly matched up with someone. And I think what you were saying, Rachel, is so true. Like after a while you realize, oh, that person is, if I hadn't met that person at that time, I wouldn't have finished my PhD or that sort of thing. But then I think that's all just, these are all reflections that are just, it makes it really hard to operationalize because clearly I think we all here feel that there's a need and we always would appreciate having lots of different role models and figures and yeah, and just models of how to do research and how to do our work and what skills and competencies and things we need to think about to do that successfully and earnestly. But the alchemy of that is really hard. And so I don't know. I have no brilliant solutions.
You go ahead, Agnes. I hope I did not butcher your name.
No, not at all. Sorry, I joined a bit late, but yeah, I'm interested in this discussion, and I think I echo Andrea, because I think like having a mentor for me is actually to help me kind of like also overcome some barriers or like obstacles in this career, and oftentimes it's just I really need a mentor, but it's very hard to kind of find someone who can understand what I define as a challenge. So in this case, like imposter syndrome, if as we all know, maybe like it's a big thing in academia, and sometimes I just feel like when I raise my concern, it's sometimes hard to be understood in that sense. And of course, the fact that I also come from a certain, parts of the world and have lived somewhere that defines the way I communicate and yeah, just the language I use. And sometimes this kind of like mismatch also affects mentorship processes. And I feel like that's yeah, it's just difficult because it's there is like a combination of the career part, but also like how you communicate with each other and trying to understand each other's like message and concern. So I think that's my biggest barrier actually in finding a mentor, and I'm still in need of one. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing, Agnes. And we obviously want to keep these discussions going, and I see we're so close to the end of our session, but we want everyone to be involved in how we really shape the early career network, and we want diverse perspectives because we do need to like have mentors that understand us, and we need to venture out into the world and do great things, but we do need the support. And that's what we're trying to do with the Early Career Network. So if you are interested in like volunteering to shape workshops, or if you want to help in, um, I guess, managing a specific working group, or you want to join us, like Daniel and I, as we kind of map the direction of the Early Career Network so that it reflects the needs of our community and also the wants, because there are things we do want but we don't necessarily need at the time. But like well, I guess we do need what we want in this case. And then just feel free to reach out to Daniel and I. You can also speak up on this call, and we would also want to know like which way you would rather communicating, if you would rather like meeting via Zoom very informally, or if you would rather have a Slack or a Discord where we could, talk about different things that we want to see, or just connect um, readily, I would say. Or if you would rather localize in-person meetups, even though right now that's kind of hard, especially given the funding environment. But just let us know what you would like to see. You could unmute your mic. We have like 5 minutes left. Daniel, do you think we should move on to the last slide?
Just to really quickly echo on that too, it's like we as I'm sure many of you have seen this past week, we have the GLP hub and a dedicated early career network space in there too. And we would really, really like to encourage people to utilize that space. And within that, there are forums where we can continue these sort of discussions, specifically there as well. So I would highly encourage people to keep that in mind, as well as like a major way to communicate and get some of these things moving.
Yeah. So yeah, so we use the GLP hub to, coordinate and meet and post different opportunities and all of that. Yeah.
Just a little plug that tomorrow Riley's doing a town hall workshop on how to use the hub. And if people can make it for a little while, I think it'd be super helpful. Because a lot of it's just like, I know, another tool, because we already have Slack and we already have Discord and we already have everything else. But this was really a tool that could be free and accessible and open to all. And we put a lot of effort into setting it up. So if people can use it, it would be amazing.
You-
Can I add one thing to the GLP's activities here that it'd be good to think about in terms of the context of the Early Career Network, which is the new GLP journal, which are called Land Systems, which I'm really excited about. We all know how broken academic publishing is, and it's a giant waste of all of our money. And so to have like a community journal that we can publish in and not feel as though it's sort of like harming our careers because we're expected to publish in Nature is like would be really transformative in terms of fixing something that's wrong in our world. And I'd really love it if the Early Career Network could be a real part of making it a success. Particularly by offering to review for it as a non-for-profit community journal. Um, yeah, if anyone's interested in kind of like forming a sort of early career area of activity, hub of activity around doing that, that would be super cool. Um, so yeah, that's an extra thought on this.
So can I just mention one specific thing now that you bring up the journal? So will actually be a particular section also in the journal where it will be this about like letters from early career researchers and letters to early career researchers. And it's inspired by something that science actually had many years ago, but that was unfortunately terminated. But where this science sort of like had this section where they had sort of more the older researchers to write about things they would like to advise on for the early career researchers, things they would have wished that they had done differently. But then we wanted to make it more sort of like a two-way communication so that the early career researchers could also write to the sort of more senior researchers in terms of, okay, these and these are the challenges, this and this is what we would like advice on. So I'm quite excited about this and see how it's going to go. But I think that the intention is also to have really the early career researchers involved in the journal and how this section should be set up.
Thanks, Sarah.
Before we get to the end of time, and if people need to go, we can keep this on for as long as needed. There's nothing afterwards, so we can continue the discussion. I think it's been a really fruitful one. And two, Ayana, if you wouldn't mind, if we could get maybe like a picture of everybody who's at this meeting. So maybe we stop sharing screens and have people turn on cameras so that we can, see grab a fun picture.
Definitely.
All right, and I'll just do a little screenshot. Okay, and so say cheese. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Okay, and then Ayana, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think rather than reading or listing what's already there. I think, yeah, I'm just very happy about the conversation and exchange that we just had. I think it was a real exchange of ideas and insights and real talk. So I'm very happy about that and all the ideas that came up. And we'll make sure to take note of all the ideas, observations that were made, precisely to plan on these next activities. As I think it was Andrea, I don't remember now. The idea is precisely that this is a network, so as such, we don't want anything that is centralized. So we will also the plan is to create mechanisms for this network to work as such and yeah, so I think in light of time, we are taking note of everything that has been said, discussed, and the invitation is always open to contact us and to yeah, just to keep the conversation, and we will make a whole systematization of all the ideas and exchange. But I think I share a lot of what was said about the at some point, for example, my own experience during my PhD was like I was not a pure landscape ecologist. I was not an agronomist. I was not a biologist. And then when I found the land system niche, I was okay, yeah. And I would say that the openness of researchers in land system sciences is also brings so much light and so much refreshment to the research landscape. So I think yeah, I don't know if you want to say something else, but the what we will do is to systematize all the information and contact you back on the next steps.
Definitely. So you could scan the last one. It takes you straight to the GLP hub. We really want, to really have that connection and keep these conversations going and really tailor the path that we want and tailor it in a way that is acceptable to us as early career scientists and also a way that creates impacts and connections that, understand us, that we understand, that is fruitful and um yeah, just something great for us so we could have the impact we want to have and the careers that we want to be in as well. And you could connect with Daniel and I on LinkedIn. That's the QR code. We'd love to hear from you and stay connected. And if you have anything else to say, now's your chance before the meeting ends.
Just to
Thanks to
say, yeah, thank you very
yeah.
much, Ayana and Daniel, for putting this together, especially on such short notice. For those of you who may not know, Ayana and Daniel were accepted to be our co-coordinators last month and very quickly put this amazing session together. So thank you both very much for all your hard work, and also to Sophie and Nani who helped as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much.
So great to see everyone. Thank you for
Likewise.
joining.
Bye, thank you.
See y'all.
Bye.